Chapter 1, Part 12. Similarly, true wisdom isn't about hoarding knowledge. It's about sharing it in a way that empowers others to find their own inner sharpness. We'll explore techniques for mentorship, for asking insightful questions that lead others to their own epiphanies, and for creating environments where everyone feels empowered to shine. This isn't about being the only tall building. It's about fostering a vibrant, illuminated cityscape where everyone contributes to the collective glow. Your light makes others brighter, and in turn, their light reflects back on you, creating a magnificent feedback loop of shared brilliance. The spiritual filament, the unseen source of your radiance. What ultimately fuels your light? What keeps your spiritual filament from burning out in the face of life's relentless demands? This involves cultivating a constant, conscious connection to your highest self, to your overarching purpose, and to whatever divine unifying source you believe in. We'll explore practices that keep this filament strong and bright, from moments of solitary communion to acts of selfless service. This consistent inner charge prevents burnout, ensures a steady, powerful glow, and allows your sharp, brilliant self to illuminate not just your path, but the paths of countless others. When you learn to truly illuminate, your sharpness doesn't just benefit you, it brightens the entire landscape. You become a landmark of clarity, a source of inspiration, and a testament to the power of a life lived with intentional, radiant purpose. Let your light shine. Conclusion. The unfinished masterpiece, Perpetual Evolution. The Chrysler Building stands as a testament to vision, design, and enduring execution. It's a completed structure, yet its presence in the skyline, its influence on culture, and its ongoing story continue to evolve. It is, in essence, an unfinished masterpiece in the grand tapestry of human endeavor. Your journey to becoming as sharp as the Chrysler Building is precisely the same. It is not a fixed destination you arrive at, sign the guest book, and then take a permanent nap. No, my friends, it is a continuous, joyous process of refining, building, polishing, and illuminating. As I've always maintained, the journey never ends, and that is its most profound joy. This truth is the ultimate liberation. It frees you from the tyranny of arrival, from the pressure of perfection, and from the misguided notion that growth eventually ceases. The moment you believe you've mastered it all, that you're done, is the moment you become a static blueprint rather than a living, evolving structure. There will always be new challenges, new weather patterns to withstand, new architects of thought emerging in the world of ideas. But with the solid foundation you've built on the bedrock of the now, the radiant presence you've polished, the distinctive voice you've honed, the structural integrity you've reinforced, and the powerful illumination you've learned to project, you are now equipped not just to survive, but to thrive with a radiant, insightful, and profoundly impactful existence. You are an ongoing work of art, a living skyscraper of consciousness. Keep designing, keep building, keep gleaming, keep seeking. The world, in its vast, intricate, and often chaotic beauty, is waiting for your light to join its ever-evolving skyline. Go, build, shine. The still point, finding your unshakable center in a spinning world. Dedication to the quiet breath, the unblinking eye of truth, and the sacred pause where all wisdom resides. Introduction, the great spin and the anchor within. My friends, look around. Feel it. The world, it's not just moving fast anymore, it's a centrifuge. 1,000 messages screaming for your attention, 1,000,000 tasks demanding your energy, a relentless current of what-ifs and what-nows pulling you in every direction. We've built ladders, climbed summits, polished our presence until we gleamed like the Chrysler Building. We've understood the power of the now, embraced the endless journey. Good. Necessary work. But what happens when the very ground beneath your feet feels like it's vibrating? When the digital hum becomes a roar and the global symphony of striving turns into a discordant clamor? When every corner of your life, from your inbox to your deepest anxieties, seems to be spinning out of control? We talk about being sharp, and sharpness, it implies cutting through. But what if the deepest wisdom isn't about slicing through the chaos, but about finding the one thing that isn't moving, the unshakable point, the quiet core, the still point? Think of a spinning top. Mesmerizing, isn't it? A blur of motion. But at its heart, there's that tiny, precise point, perfectly balanced, utterly still, upon which all that magnificent, dizzying movement depends. That, my friends, is what we're after. That's the true mastery in a world gone wild. It's not about stopping the spin. You can't, not really. It's about finding your axis and holding it steady. Most folks are out there chasing the next big thing, the next shiny object, the next piece of external validation. They're running after peace like it's a fugitive, clarity like it's a mirage. But peace, true peace, isn't something you chase. It's something you are. It's that still point within you waiting to be rediscovered, polished, and leaned into. This isn't another essay about doing more. It's about less. Less reacting, less chasing, less absorbing the external whirlwind. It's about cultivating an inner sanctuary, a quiet observatory from which you can witness the world's magnificent, sometimes terrifying dance without being swept away by it. It's about building a stillness so profound, so utterly unyielding, that the loudest external noise cannot pierce it, and the fastest external spin cannot dislodge it. If you're tired of the blur, if your soul longs for an anchor in the storm, if you suspect that the deepest answers aren't out there, but profoundly, beautifully, undeniably in here, then open these pages. Let's find your still point. And from that unshakable center, let's learn to truly live, fully present, powerfully calm, and undeniably, eternally free. And the greatest joy? It's not just the climbing, but the profound stillness you discover at your very core, no matter how fast the world spins around you. Let us begin. The eye hitting your inner calm amidst chaos. Every hurricane, a terrifying vortex of destruction, holds at its very heart a place of eerie, profound calm. The eye. It's the still point of the storm. Our lives, especially in this accelerated age, often feel like a perpetual Category 5. The winds of anxiety howl, the rains of expectation deluge us, and the debris of digital distraction flies relentlessly. But just like that hurricane, within each of us lies an analogous sanctuary, the eye of the storm. This isn't some airy-fairy, sit on a cushion and do nothing kind of calm. No, this is robust, battle-tested stillness, the kind that allows a surgeon to remain steady amidst a life-or-death operation, a pilot to make split-second decisions in turbulence, or a parent to maintain loving composure during a child's meltdown. It's not the absence of the storm, it's the profound presence of your unshakable self within it. Most of us, when the winds pick up, we instinctively grab onto anything we can. Old habits, external reassurances, other people's opinions. We become flotsam, battered by every wave. But the truly sharp individual, the one who operates from a place of genuine power, learns to swim into the eye, to find their footing in the very center of the maelstrom. The wind gauge of worry, identifying your personal gusts. Before you can find the still point, you've got to understand the forces pushing you around. What are your personal wind gusts? Is it the constant hum of social media validation? The relentless pressure of financial metrics? The gnawing dread of future uncertainties? Practical wind gauges are simple, self-diagnostic tools to help you identify the specific anxieties and external pressures that hijack your inner calm. It's not about fighting these winds directly, but about knowing their nature so you can orient yourself accordingly. Because you can't navigate if you don't know which way the current is pulling. The anchor drop. Simple practices for immediate centering. This isn't about a lifelong monastic commitment. It's about practical, accessible anchor drops you can deploy in seconds in the thick of daily life. For examples, there are techniques like the 3-breath micropause, a powerful, almost ridiculous way to reset your nervous system in the middle of a frantic meeting. And the grounding gaze, where you consciously fix your eyes on a single, unmoving object for 10 seconds, letting its stillness subtly seep into your own being. These aren't just tricks, they're acts of conscious will reestablishing your connection to the now. One breath, one glance, one sacred pause at a time. This is where the wisdom of the latter meets the immediacy of the storm. Mapping the inner eye, finding your personal sanctuary. Beyond the quick fixes, there are deeper pathways to your still point. This involves a conscious mapping of your inner landscape. What activities, what environments, what forms of silence or gentle engagement allow you to naturally access that profound calm? Is it walking in nature, listening to a particular piece of music, engaging in a creative act without expectation? Try to identify these personal sanctuaries, these inner eyes of the storm, and equip yourself with strategies to intentionally cultivate them. making them readily accessible when the external world threatens to overwhelm. It's about designing your life, not just reacting to it. The storm will come, it always does. But you, my friend, are not merely a leaf in the wind. You are the immovable center. You are the eye. And from that place of profound, unwavering stillness, you will discover a clarity, a power, and a peace that makes you not just sharp, but utterly, beautifully, eternally unshakable. The art of unbecoming. Shedding the weight for true ascent. We've talked about building, about foundations and frameworks and gleaming facades, and all that is good, righteous work. But sometimes the path to true strength, to genuine sharpness, isn't about adding more. It's about unbecoming. It's about shedding. It's about letting go of what no longer serves, not with regret, but with the profound, liberating awareness that subtraction can be the most powerful form of addition. Think of a sculptor. They don't add clay indiscriminately. They chip away, they carve, they remove everything that isn't the masterpiece waiting within the block of stone. Most of us were carrying around layers of old beliefs, expired roles, borrowed opinions, and ancestral anxieties, like a mental suit of armor that was never quite meant for us and has long since rusted. No wonder we feel heavy, inflexible, and easily knocked off balance. True ascent, like a balloon rising, demands release. It demands understanding that the journey never ends, not just as a concept of continuous growth, but as a constant cycle of creation and graceful dissolution. To be truly sharp, truly free, is to be unencumbered. The inventory of excess. What are you carrying that isn't yours? We'll begin with a radical self-inventory, not just of physical clutter, but of mental and emotional baggage. Are you carrying the weight of old grudges, the burden of past failures, the oppressive expectation of others, the incessant need for external validation? Thought experiments and writing exercises can help you identify these excess loads. It's like going through your mental attic and asking, does this spark joy, or does it just collect dust and drain my energy? If it's the latter, we learn to gently, yet firmly, release it. The graceful unfurling, embracing the impermanence of identity. We cling to identities. I am a successful lawyer. I am a loving parent. I am a broken person. These labels, while sometimes helpful, can also become cages, preventing us from evolving. Profound liberation can come from understanding that identity is fluid, a continuous unraveling and reweaving. Certain practices can help you sit comfortably with the discomfort of not knowing who you are for a moment, creating space for your truest, most expansive self to unfurl. It's about dancing with impermanence, seeing each end as a glorious new beginning, a profound rebecoming. The spiritual declutter, the joy of empty space. Just as a clear mind offers more room for profound thought, a decluttered spirit offers more room for profound experience. There is joy and power in creating empty space, not emptiness as a void, but as a fertile ground. This could involve consciously stepping back from constant sensory input, creating periods of digital silence, or simply allowing moments of unprogrammed stillness in your day. This sacred emptiness isn't about deprivation. It's about invitation. It's where intuition can whisper, where creativity can flow unimpeded, and where the subtle, profound truths of the still point can truly resonate. To be truly sharp isn't just about what you cut with, but what you cut away. It's the sculptor's wisdom, the minimalist's grace, the mystic's surrender. It's the art of becoming less to become truly, magnificently, eternally more. Shed your burdens, my friend. The ascent awaits. The resonant field, cultivating connection in a disconnected world. We speak of the still point, the unshakable center, but this isn't an invitation to isolation. No, my friends. True stillness, profound presence, when cultivated, creates a powerful resonant field. It's like the perfectly tuned frequency that not only brings you into harmony with yourself, but also allows you to truly connect, deeply and authentically, with everything and everyone around you. In a world increasingly fragmented, where digital connections often masquerade as genuine communion, this resonant field is our most potent tool for weaving back the tapestry of humanity. Think of it. The deepest connections aren't born of constant chatter or frantic effort. They emerge from shared presence, from a stillness that allows true empathy to bloom. When you are truly centered, truly listening from your still point, your interactions shift. You move beyond surface-level exchanges and tap into the shared hum of humanity, the universal longing for understanding and belonging. The empathic antenna, tuning into the unspoken frequencies. Most conversations are like two people shouting across a canyon, each waiting for their turn. To create a resonant field, you need to develop your empathic antenna. This goes beyond just hearing words. It's about tuning in to the unspoken emotions, the subtle energies, the underlying needs that reside beneath the surface of dialogue. There are practices that may heighten your sensitivity, allowing you to pick up on these deeper frequencies, from truly witnessing body language to consciously listening for the heart behind the words. This makes you not just a participant in a conversation, but a deeply attuned instrument, fostering a connection that transcends mere information exchange. The authenticity amplifier, projecting your true signal. Once your antenna is tuned, it's time to amplify your authentic signal. In a world of curated personas and digital masks, true connection comes from courageous vulnerability and genuine expression. When you operate from your still point, you are less concerned with external judgment and more focused on expressing your truth with clarity and compassion. We'll discuss how to speak from your heart even when it feels raw, how to offer genuine empathy without dissolving your boundaries, and how to radiate your unique light in a way that invites rather than demands connection. Your still point isn't just for you, it's the anchor from which your most authentic, resonant self can reach out. Building bridges of presence, from digital noise to human resonance. The digital world, despite its pitfalls, also offers unprecedented opportunities for connection. The challenge is to transform it from a source of noise into a conduit for resonance. This involves intentional engagement, choosing platforms and interactions that foster genuine presence rather than superficial scrolling. There are strategies for transforming online interactions into moments of real connection, from crafting mindful messages to cultivating spaces for shared, focused attention. It's about using technology as a tool for bridge building, not wall constructing, always returning to the simple, profound truth that the deepest connection happens when two or more still points meet. Your still point isn't a solitary island, it's the radiant core from which your most profound connections emanate. Cultivate it, amplify it, and let your resonant field draw others into the shared human experience, weaving a stronger, more connected tapestry, one genuine interaction at a time. Conclusion: the still point as the ever-expanding horizon. My friends, we began this journey seeking the still point, that unshakable center in a world that spins with relentless speed. We've explored the profound art of finding inner calm, the liberating wisdom of unbecoming, and the sacred power of cultivating deep connection. We've learned that true sharpness isn't about frantic activity or endless accumulation, but about the profound clarity that emerges from stillness. Remember that spinning top. Its stability, its very existence as a distinct moving form, depends entirely on that single unmoving point at its core. Your life is no different. The dynamism, the growth, the joy, the impact you have in this world, all of it flows from the strength and peace of your own still point. And here's the beautiful unfolding truth. The still point isn't a destination you reach and then stay. No. Just as the journey never ends, so too does the still point ever expand. As you cultivate it, as you lean into it, you find it grows deeper, more encompassing, more profound. It becomes less of a tiny dot and more of a vast, internal universe capable of holding more chaos, more joy, more sorrow, and more uncertainty without being disturbed. The world will continue its magnificent, sometimes maddening spin. New technologies will emerge, new challenges will arise, new distractions will clamor for your attention. But now you carry an immutable compass. You know where true north lies. You have the anchor within. So go forth, my friends. Live fully, engage deeply, contribute powerfully, and always remember to return to that sacred, unshakable still point within you, for it is there, in that profound stillness, that you will find your deepest peace, your clearest purpose, and the boundless joy of an existence lived with unwavering grace. The still point is not the end of the climb. It is the infinite horizon from which all true living begins. Be still, be free, be Cloak and Dagger, unveiling the hidden threads of reality, dedication, to the whispers in the dark, the truths that hide in plain sight, and the courage to pull back the veil, no matter what lies beneath. Introduction: the unseen hand. and the unblinking eye. My friends, we've talked about the ladder, the summit, the sharp gleam of the Chrysler Building, and the quiet power of the still point. We've built, we've ascended, we've polished, we've anchored. We've learned to navigate the obvious, the loud, the brightly lit avenues of life. Good, all of it, profoundly necessary. But what about the alleys, the shadows, the hushed conversations in dimly lit rooms? What about the feeling deep in your gut that there's more going on than meets the eye? That the grand narrative you've been handed might just be a carefully constructed stage play, while the real drama unfolds backstage in whispers and subtle movements? We're talking about Cloak and Dagger. Pause for a moment. Feel the weight of those words. It's not just about spies and secrets, though there's plenty of that in the world, both outside and inside us. No, it's about the unseen forces that shape our lives, the hidden agendas, both personal and collective, the subtle deceptions, often self-imposed, that keep us from seeing the full, unvarnished truth. And most importantly, it's about the dagger of discernment, the sharp, unwavering tool of your own awareness, ready to cut through illusion and reveal what truly is. Most folks, they walk through life like tourists in a brightly lit museum, admiring the exhibits, reading the plaques, and believing everything they're told. They don't notice the security cameras, the subtle shifts in the guards' eyes, the hidden passages behind the velvet ropes. They don't question the narrative. They don't look for the strings. But you, my friend, you're ready for more. You're ready to be an operative in the grand intelligence game of your own existence. You're ready to understand that the greatest mysteries aren't out there in some far-off conspiracy, but often right here, in the very fabric of your perception, in the unspoken agreements you've made with yourself and the world. This isn't an essay to make you paranoid. No, it's to make you aware, to sharpen your senses to the subtle cues, to train your mind to see beyond the obvious, to cultivate an inner radar that detects the hidden currents. It's about understanding the art of illusion, not to create it, but to dismantle it, piece by careful piece. It's about recognizing the masks we wear, the roles we play, and the silent battles fought in the theater of the mind. If you're tired of feeling like a pawn in a game you don't understand, if your intuition whispers of deeper truths, or if you simply crave the clarity that comes from seeing things as they truly are, then step into the shadows with me. The greatest joy is not just finding the truth, but the profound power that comes from living it, unburdened by illusion. So let us begin the unveiling. Let us learn the art of the cloak and dagger, the shadow play, recognizing the illusions we live by. Every grand stage, every bustling city, every human mind has its shadows. They are not inherently evil. They are simply places where light does not yet fall. But in these shadows, illusions thrive, misunderstandings multiply. And often, the most potent deceptions are not cast by external forces, but by the very way we choose to perceive, or not perceive, the world around us. This is about stepping into the theater of your own mind and recognizing the shadow play, the subtle, often unconscious, illusions that shape your reality. Think of it. A magician doesn't fool you with actual magic. They fool you with misdirection, with sleight of hand, with the clever manipulation of your attention. Your own mind in its magnificent complexity can be the greatest magician of all, creating elaborate illusions that keep you from seeing the simple, unvarnished truth. We believe the stories we tell ourselves, the roles we play, the narratives we've inherited without ever truly questioning their authenticity. The curtains of convenience. Why we prefer the illusion. Why do we cling to illusions, even when they cause us pain? Often it's simply convenient. The truth can be messy, uncomfortable, demanding. It requires effort to see and courage to accept. We prefer the comfortable curtain of, that's just how it is, or I can't change, or they always do that. Pull back these curtains, gently at first, then with increasing firmness, to expose the underlying reasons we choose comfort over clarity. This isn't about judgment. It's about understanding the subtle psychological contracts we make with ourselves that keep us in the dark. The echo chamber of belief, unmasking self-deception. Our beliefs, often formed unconsciously, act like echo chambers. They amplify what we already think, filter out contradictory evidence, and reinforce our existing worldview. This can be a powerful self-deception, keeping us trapped in limiting patterns. Try to identify these echo chambers, the recurring thoughts, the automatic assumptions, the truths you've never truly examined. This involves a radical act of self-interrogation, asking, is this truly my truth, or a story I've been told, or a role I've adopted? It's like being your own internal intelligence agent, questioning every piece of intel. The cloak of projection, seeing others through your own filters. We often see others not as they are, but as reflections of our own fears, desires, and unresolved issues. This is the cloak of projection, a powerful illusion that distorts our relationships and prevents genuine connection. When you project your own insecurities onto another, you're not seeing them. You're seeing a ghost of yourself. Try to identify when you're wearing this cloak, when your judgments of others are actually revealing more about your own inner landscape. This practice of mirroring allows you to peel back the layers of misperception, leading to clearer vision and more authentic interactions. The first step to wielding the dagger of discernment is to understand the nature of the shadows, to recognize the illusions, both external and internal. Only then can you begin to bring light to the hidden corners and see the world and yourself with unvarnished clarity. The dagger of discernment, honing your inner truth detector. Once you've recognized the shadow play, once you've seen the curtains and the cloaks, the next step is to wield the dagger of discernment. This isn't a weapon of aggression, my friends. It's a surgical instrument of truth. It's the keen edge of your own awareness, honed to cut through confusion, expose deception, and reveal the stark, liberating reality beneath. In a world awash with noise, misinformation, and cleverly crafted narratives, this inner truth detector is your most vital asset. Think of a master craftsman or a seasoned detective. They don't just look, they see. They don't just hear, they listen for the subtle discrepancies, the telling silences, the patterns that others miss. They possess a refined sense of discernment, an ability to separate the signal from the noise, the genuine from the counterfeit. This is not a gift bestowed upon a chosen few. It is a skill, a muscle that can be developed, sharpened, and wielded with precision. The art of pattern recognition, connecting the unseen dots. Life often presents us with seemingly disconnected events, random occurrences, and isolated pieces of information. But beneath the surface, there are always patterns, threads weaving together to form a larger tapestry. The dagger of discernment helps you see these patterns. There are exercises in observational intelligence, such as paying attention to the subtle repetitions in your own behavior, the recurring themes in your relationships, and the consistent messages from the universe. It's about moving beyond the obvious and training your mind to connect the unseen dots, revealing the underlying logic or illogic of situations. The silence between the words, listening for what isn't said. Often, the most profound truths are not spoken aloud. They reside in the pauses, the hesitations, the things deliberately left unsaid. This is the silence between the words, a rich field for discernment. Practice active, deep listening, not just for content, but for context, for emotion, for the unspoken intentions. This involves cultivating patience, resisting the urge to fill every conversational void, and allowing the unarticulated to emerge. It's like being a master interrogator, not by force, but by creating a space where truth feels safe enough to reveal itself. The gut check, trusting your inner compass. Beyond logical analysis, beyond external evidence, lies your deepest truth detector, your intuition, your gut feeling. This isn't some mystical, unexplainable phenomenon. It's the culmination of your accumulated wisdom, your subconscious processing of countless data points, signaling to you what feels right, what feels off. We can distinguish true intuition from fear or wishful thinking, how to quiet the mental chatter that often drowns out its subtle whispers, and how to consciously practice the gut check before making decisions. Your inner compass, when properly calibrated, is the most reliable guide through the fog of deception. Wielding the dagger of discernment means living with an unblinking eye, an open mind, and a trusted inner compass. It means daring to look beyond the surface, to question the obvious, and to trust your own profound capacity to know what is true. This is the path to genuine clarity, to unshakable conviction, and to a life lived with profound, unvarnished insight. The unveiling, living in the light of radical honesty. You've recognized the shadow play. You've honed your dagger of discernment. Now comes the most profound and liberating act, the unveiling. This isn't just about seeing the truth, it's about living it. It's about stripping away the layers of pretense, the masks of convenience, and the cloaks of fear, and daring to stand in the radiant, sometimes stark light of radical honesty, with yourself and with the world. Think of a grand reveal, a moment when the lights come up and the truth is laid bare. It can be exhilarating, terrifying, and utterly transformative. Most people spend their lives in a perpetual state of partial concealment, believing that revealing their true selves, their true thoughts, their true feelings, is dangerous. But I tell you, my friends, the greatest danger lies in living a lie, even a small one, for it slowly erodes the very core of your being. The mirror of truth. Radical honesty with self. The most challenging unveiling often begins at home, in the quiet chambers of your own mind. This involves a fearless inventory of your own motives, your own fears, your own hidden agendas. It's about looking into the mirror of truth and acknowledging what you truly feel, what you truly desire, what you truly fear, without judgment or self-deception. You can learn practices like the unfiltered journal, writing without censor, allowing every thought and emotion to surface, and the daily confession, a private moment where you admit to yourself where you fell short, where you acted out of fear, where you were less than your highest self. This isn't about self-flagellation. It's about self-awareness, the foundation of all genuine change. The Transparency Pact. Honesty in relationships. Our relationships often become breeding grounds for subtle deceptions, the white lies, the unspoken resentments, the carefully curated images we present to others. The Transparency Pact is an invitation to bring more radical honesty into your interactions. This doesn't mean being brutal or tactless. It means speaking your truth with compassion, setting clear boundaries, and daring to be vulnerable. Think about how to communicate your needs clearly, how to express difficult emotions constructively, and how to foster a level of trust that can only thrive in the light of genuine openness. It's about building bridges of truth, even when the terrain is rocky. Living uncloaked, the freedom of authenticity. When you consistently practice radical honesty, a profound transformation occurs. You begin to live uncloaked. The energy you once spent maintaining illusions is now liberated, available for creativity, for connection, for genuine joy. This is the ultimate freedom. It means living in alignment with your deepest values, speaking your truth without fear, and moving through the world with an integrity that is palpable. It's like shedding a heavy, restrictive garment and stepping into the pure, unadulterated light of who you truly are. This is not just about being sharp. It's about being truly, powerfully, beautifully real. The unveiling is not a one-time event. It is a continuous process of courageous living. Each act of radical honesty, each moment you choose truth over illusion, strengthens your inner core and allows your authentic light to shine brighter. Embrace the light, my friend. Freedom awaits. Conclusion. The game never ends, but you know the rules. My friends, we began this journey in the shadows, exploring the hidden currents and the subtle deceptions that shape our world and our minds. We've learned to recognize the shadow play, to wield the dagger of discernment, and to embrace the profound liberation of the unveiling. We've understood that Cloak and Dagger isn't just a story of spies, but a metaphor for the intricate dance between illusion and reality within each of us. The game, as they say, never truly ends. The world will continue to present its mysteries, its ambiguities, its cleverly disguised truths. There will always be new cloaks to penetrate, new daggers to hone, new layers to unveil. But now, you are no longer a passive observer. You are an active participant, an astute operative, equipped with the tools and the wisdom to navigate the complexities with clarity and courage. You know the rules now. You understand the nature of illusion. You trust your inner truth detector, and most importantly, you have the profound courage to live in the light of your own radical honesty, no matter what shadows may fall. So go forth, my friends. Question everything. Discern wisely. Live authentically. And always, always remember that the greatest power lies not in controlling the game, but in understanding its hidden threads and in choosing to play it from a place of unshakable truth. There is joy that comes from not just solving the mystery, but the profound freedom that comes from living a life where you are the master of your own truth, unburdened by any cloak and armed with the sharpest dagger of all, your own awakened awareness. See clearly, live freely, be the unveiling, the unseen architect, navigating wisdom in the shadows of certainty, dedication. To the brave hearts who dare to dance in the fog, to the eyes that find patterns in chaos, and to the quiet laughter that echoes the cosmos's deepest truth. Introduction. Beyond the blueprint, into the mysterium. My friends, we've built, we've climbed, we've polished the very essence of our being till it gleamed like a Manhattan skyscraper at sunset. We've learned the joy of the unending journey, the power of the now, and the fierce clarity that comes from holding our inner still point in a world gone wild. We've even dared to pull back the cloak and dagger, seeing the hidden strings and subtle deceptions that dance in the shadows of our own perceptions. Good. All of it. Necessary. But what happens when the blueprint itself dissolves? When the map you thought you held turns out to be drawn on mist? When the very act of knowing becomes the greatest illusion? We stand on the precipice of an era where certainty is a luxury, where data overwhelms wisdom, and where the most profound truths might be found not in what we firmly grasp, but in what we humbly, courageously unknow. This is where the unseen architect steps in. It's a journey not into clearer definitions, but into deeper questions. It's about finding the profound patterns that govern existence, not through rigid systems, but through the fluid intelligence of nature. It's about cultivating a spiritual life so authentic, so woven into the fabric of your being, that it needs no external display, no grand showmanship, a quiet power, a spiritual stealth. It's about listening to the whispers of your inner oracle in a world screaming with noise. It's about stretching your mind beyond the ticking clock, understanding that time is not just a line but a spectrum. And perhaps most importantly, it's about discovering the cosmic humor that underpins it all, the grand, benevolent joke of existence that liberates us from the tyranny of seriousness. This isn't an essay for those who want all the answers neatly packaged. No, this is for the brave, the curious, the ones whose souls hum with the recognition that the greatest wisdom isn't built brick by solid brick, but breathed into being like an evolving organic form. It's about letting go of the need for absolute certainty and embracing the magnificent, often paradoxical dance of creation itself. If you're ready to venture beyond the known, to trust the whispers more than the shouts, and to find a profound peace in the beautiful, bewildering truth of not knowing everything, then join me. There is profound freedom found in recognizing that the greatest architect of all works in ways far beyond our current comprehension. Let us begin the sacred work of unknowing. The wisdom of the void, embracing the unseen blueprint. The philosophy of unknowing, the liberating art of I don't know. In an age defined by the relentless accumulation of data, facts, and definitive answers, we are conditioned to believe that knowledge is paramount. Yet, what if this ceaseless pursuit of certainty, while seemingly empowering, is actually a cage? The philosophy of unknowing posits a radical counter-narrative, that the deepest wisdom, the most profound peace, lies not in what we claim to know, but in our genuine, humble, and even joyful willingness to admit, I don't know. This is not an endorsement of ignorance, but a sophisticated intellectual and spiritual humility, a deliberate emptying of the cup to make space for the infinite possibilities that lie beyond our current grasp. At the heart of our modern predicament lies the tyranny of certainty. The pervasive compulsion to know it all, to have an immediate answer for every question, breeds anxiety, fosters judgment, and tragically limits true learning. Our egos become addicted to the gratification of being right, creating mental rigidities that prevent us from seeing new perspectives or embracing complex truths. This insatiable hunger for definitive answers can shut down curiosity, stifle genuine dialogue, and imprison us within the confines of our existing beliefs, blocking the very avenues to deeper understanding. However, recognizing this tyranny opens doubt as a doorway to deeper truth. Far from being a weakness or a sign of intellectual deficiency, doubt is an essential, often uncomfortable step in authentic inquiry. True learning, profound discovery, and genuine spiritual growth seldom begin from a position of absolute certainty. Instead, they ignite when we admit that our current understanding is incomplete, flawed, or perhaps even entirely incorrect. Doubt dismantles the intellectual edifice of ego, creating the necessary vulnerability and openness for new insights to penetrate and for a more expansive understanding of reality to unfold. This openness leads us to the fertile ground of not knowing. Embracing uncertainty is not a retreat into intellectual void, but a courageous step into a space of immense creative power. History is replete with examples of breakthroughs in science, art, and personal growth that emerged not from a state of knowing, but from a willingness to dwell in ambiguity, to explore questions without immediate answers, and to step boldly into the unknown. It is in this fertile ground, free from the constraints of preconceived notions, that novel ideas can blossom, unexpected solutions can be found, and genuine transformation can occur. The discomfort of not knowing is often the precursor to true innovation and profound personal discovery. Practically, cultivating this philosophy can begin with the empty cup meditation. This simple yet profound practice involves intentionally releasing preconceived notions, judgments, and the compulsive need for immediate answers. It's about mentally setting aside what we think we know, creating a spacious mental environment where new insights can emerge without being filtered through old biases. By consciously emptying the cup of our minds, we not only reduce mental clutter and anxiety, but also make ourselves receptive vessels for the infinite wisdom that lies just beyond the boundaries of our current understanding. In conclusion, the philosophy of unknowing is a liberating art. It challenges the modern obsession with certainty, revealing it as a source of limitation rather than liberation. By embracing humility, welcoming doubt, and dwelling in the fertile ground of not knowing, we unlock immense creative potential and open ourselves to a deeper, more profound connection with truth. It is in this conscious surrender to the vastness of the unknown that true wisdom truly begins. The art of spiritual stealth, inner transformation, unseen power. In an age saturated with overt display, where every achievement, opinion, and even spiritual endeavor can feel pressured to become a public performance, a vital truth is often obscured. Genuine spiritual power, the kind that truly transforms, often operates in profound silence without showmanship, beneath the radar of external validation. The art of spiritual stealth delves into how to cultivate a deeply spiritual life that prioritizes profound inner transformation over outward demonstration. It is indeed the cloak and dagger of the soul where the most impactful work is done unseen. Central to this philosophy is the invisible practice. True spiritual work, whether it involves deep meditation, heartfelt prayer, or rigorous self-inquiry, is often best done in private, away from the gaze and judgment of others. The pursuit of external validation for spiritual efforts can subtly inflate the spiritual ego, transforming authentic seeking into a performance. When we practice in private, the motivation becomes purely intrinsic, to connect with the divine, to purify the heart, to cultivate inner peace. This removes the insidious pressure to appear spiritual and allows for a more honest, unadorned engagement with one's inner landscape. This unseen cultivation is powerfully amplified by humility as a force multiplier. In a world that often equates strength with assertiveness and self-promotion, the quiet power of self-effacement and genuine humility can seem counterintuitive. Yet, true humility amplifies inner strength and impact rather than diminishing it. When the ego steps aside, wisdom flows more freely. When we are not preoccupied with our own image or perceived spiritual status, we become more open channels for compassion, understanding, and divine guidance. This authentic humility grounds us, making us more resilient and genuinely influential, not through overt force, but through an unassuming presence. A beautiful embodiment of spiritual stealth is doing good by stealth. This involves practicing acts of kindness, compassion, and generosity without any expectation or desire for recognition or reward. Whether it's a silent prayer for someone in need, a quiet act of service, or an anonymous gift, the motivation stems purely from the intrinsic joy of the act itself. The fulfillment comes from the pure intention and the silent ripple effect it creates, rather than from external praise. This practice deeply reinforces inner integrity, aligning actions purely with higher values without the distorting lens of egoic gratification. For practical application, we can embrace the unseen act challenge. This involves intentionally performing daily acts of spiritual virtue that no one else will ever know about, This could be extending forgiveness silently to someone who has wronged you, practicing radical listening without offering advice, patiently enduring a difficult moment without complaint, or offering a blessing to a stranger from a distance. The power of these unseen acts lies precisely in their invisibility to others. They become pure exercises in cultivating inner integrity, strengthening our moral compass, and deepening our spiritual core, free from any external agenda. In conclusion, the art of spiritual stealth offers a potent antidote to the performance culture of our digital age. By valuing invisible practice, embracing humility, engaging in unseen acts of kindness, and consciously performing challenges that nourish inner integrity, we cultivate a deeply transformative spiritual life. This cloak and dagger approach to the soul allows for genuine growth, unburdened by external expectations, leading to a profound and unshakable inner peace that is its own complete and perfect reward. The Living Compass, Intuition, Time, and Cosmic Laughter. The Inner Oracle, cultivating intuition beyond logic in a data-saturated world. In an age where algorithms promise to know us better than we know ourselves, where data analytics reign supreme and logic is the undisputed king, a crucial question arises: where does true inner knowing reside? We delve into the inner oracle, your intuition, your gut feeling, that profound wisdom that speaks in whispers beyond the roar of data and the clamor of external opinions. It is, in essence, your most cutting-edge navigation system in a world increasingly saturated by information. The challenge in accessing this inner wisdom lies in distinguishing the signal from the static. Our minds are constantly bombarded by fear, wishful thinking, and deeply ingrained subconscious biases, all of which can easily be mistaken for genuine intuition. Learning to filter this mental noise is paramount. It requires a disciplined practice of mindfulness and self-awareness, allowing us to quiet the chatter of the conscious mind and tune into the subtle, clear signal of inner truth. This discernment is not automatic. It is a skill cultivated through intentional listening and honest self-reflection. Beyond what might seem like magic, intuition can be understood as deep pattern recognition. Beyond the algorithm, it is not a mystical force, but rather a sophisticated, rapid form of pattern recognition processed by our subconscious minds. Our brains, drawing on vast archives of experiences, observations, and subtle cues that our conscious mind may not even register, can synthesize complex information almost instantaneously. This allows intuition to often operate faster and, in many cases, more accurately than laborious conscious analysis, providing immediate insights that bypass the linear processing of logic. It's the brain's supercomputer offering a swift, holistic assessment. Crucially, the body as oracle serves as a primary language for this inner knowing. Intuition often manifests not as a thought, but as a somatic sensation, a gut feeling, a chill down the spine, a sense of lightness or heaviness. These subtle physical cues are the wisdom encoded in our very cells, providing direct, unadulterated feedback from our deeper intelligence. Learning to attune to these bodily signals, to trust these primal responses, is key to accessing intuitive guidance. It requires a shift from purely cognitive understanding to a more holistic, embodied awareness. To cultivate and strengthen this vital inner navigation system, Practical Learning, the Intuition Journal, offers a tangible approach. Regularly noting down intuitive hits, those sudden insights, gut feelings, or impulses, and subsequently observing their outcomes helps to build profound trust in your inner guidance system. Coupled with this, practicing conscious pausing before making decisions allows time to quiet the external noise and invite intuitive insight. By intentionally creating space for inner wisdom to emerge, we begin to rely less on external validation and more on the profound, silent knowing that resides within, empowering us to navigate a complex world with unparalleled clarity and confidence. The spectrum of time, dancing with Chronos and Kairos. In our modern existence, we often feel imprisoned by the linear ticking of the clock, trapped in a relentless past, present, future continuum. Yet, what if time is not merely a single, unyielding line, but a rich, multidimensional spectrum? The spectrum of time invites us to explore this profound notion, drawing wisdom from both ancient spiritual traditions and the tantalizing insights of modern physics, all with the aim of breaking free from rigid linear perception and unlocking new dimensions of presence, learning, and meaning. A crucial distinction in understanding this spectrum lies in differentiating chronos versus kairos, the quantitative and the qualitative. Chronos refers to chronological sequential time, the measurable quantitative seconds, minutes, and hours that govern our daily schedules. It is the time of appointments and deadlines. Kairos, however, signifies moments of profound, qualitative, and meaningful time, opportune moments, significant experiences, or transformative junctures that transcend mere duration. It is the quality of time, not its quantity, that matters in Kairos. The spiritual imperative lies in learning how to live more in Kairos, to recognize and fully inhabit these pregnant moments of significance, thereby enriching our lives beyond the mere passage of Chronos. This expanded understanding allows for a deeper dive into the eternal now, reimagined. The concept of the present moment gains profound depth when we explore how the past and future can be accessed and influenced, not just passively observed from this anchor point. While Chronos dictates a fixed past and an unarrived future, the eternal now suggests a dynamic present where all potentials reside. Spiritual traditions teach that by fully embodying the present, we can recontextualize past events, extracting lessons and releasing lingering emotional ties, and similarly, imbue the future with intention and positive energy, subtly influencing its manifestation. The present becomes the point of power from which all time can be engaged. This active engagement with time is further explored through time travel of the mind. This isn't about physical displacement, but about conscious practices that allow for mental and emotional time travel, all firmly anchored in the present. We can revisit the past not to relive trauma, but to reframe experiences, extract hidden wisdom, and offer forgiveness to ourselves or others, thereby healing their energetic residue in the present. Conversely, we can pre-live the future through vivid visualization and emotional immersion, not as wishful thinking, but as a potent form of manifestation, imprinting desired outcomes onto the quantum field of possibilities from the anchor of our current reality. For practical application, the timeline reframe offers a powerful exercise. This guided visualization involves consciously observing your personal timeline, identifying key past events or desired future outcomes. Through focused intention and emotional engagement, you can then consciously reframe past experiences, shifting their emotional charge from negative to neutral or positive, thereby liberating their hold on your present. Simultaneously, you can energetically pre-experience desired future outcomes, fully immersing yourself in the feelings of achievement and fulfillment. This practice serves to anchor these positive shifts firmly in your present reality, demonstrating that our perception and engagement with time are far more flexible and influential than conventional thought suggests. In conclusion, by embracing the spectrum of time and dancing with both Chronos and Kairos, we unlock a richer, more empowered experience of existence. Moving beyond the tyranny of the clock, we realize that the present moment is not merely a fleeting point, but a powerful vortex from which we can heal the past, shape the future, and ultimately live a life imbued with profound meaning and boundless presence. The cosmic humor, finding laughter in the grand design life, we are often told is serious business. It's a journey fraught with weighty decisions, profound suffering, and the relentless pursuit of purpose. Yet, what if the very deepest wisdom, the ultimate liberation, comes from seeing the grand, benevolent, utterly absurd joke that underpins all existence? The cosmic humor explores the transformative role of laughter, lightness, and irony in spiritual awakening, demonstrating how embracing it can free us from the tyranny of seriousness and open us to a more joyful reality. At the heart of this cosmic jest lies the divine prankster. Across diverse mythologies, trickster archetypes like Loki, Coyote, and Hermes embody a chaotic, yet ultimately creative playfulness. These figures delight in disrupting rigidity, challenging conventional wisdom, and exposing hypocrisy through cunning and humor. They are manifestations of a cosmic playfulness that teaches us not to take ourselves or the world too seriously. Their antics remind us that life's grand design may not always conform to our logical expectations, and that sometimes the most profound insights emerge when our carefully constructed realities are playfully upended. This leads to the understanding of laughter as a spiritual practice. Genuine mirth possesses an extraordinary power to dissolve ego, release tension, and connect us to a deeper, more joyous aspect of reality. A hearty, uninhibited laugh at oneself can instantly deflate self-importance, break cycles of rumination, and create a momentary transcendence of worries. It's a spontaneous act of surrender, a burst of energy that purifies the mind and opens the heart. When we laugh, especially at our own foibles and struggles, we tap into a universal lightness that reminds us of our inherent joy and resilience. Furthermore, embracing cosmic humor illuminates the absurdity of attachment. We humans expend immense energy on our serious attachments to transient things, our possessions, our status, our opinions, our identities. We concoct elaborate worries about outcomes we cannot control and immerse ourselves in self-important dramas. From the cosmic perspective, these attachments and anxieties can appear profoundly absurd. Seeing the humor in our relentless striving and clinging allows us to loosen our grip, to recognize the impermanence of all things, and to find liberation in detachment. It's a gentle, humorous nudge to remember that we are all just tiny figures in a vast, unfolding play, and our attempts to rigidly control it are ultimately futile, yet endearing. For practical application, we can engage in the cosmic comic relief. This involves concrete exercises designed to cultivate a lighter, more humorous perspective. It could mean intentionally practicing self-deprecation, laughing at your own mistakes or minor embarrassments, rather than dwelling on them. It involves actively seeking out sources of genuine, liberating laughter, from comedy to playful interactions, and consciously applying that lens to daily frustrations. By training ourselves to find the humor in everyday absurdities, we lighten our emotional load and foster an inner resilience that is impervious to external pressures. In conclusion, the cosmic humor offers a profound path to spiritual awakening. By recognizing the divine prankster at play, embracing laughter as a sacred practice, seeing the absurdity of our attachments, and intentionally cultivating comic relief, we free ourselves from the tyranny of seriousness. This lightness does not diminish life's depth, but enhances it, allowing us to navigate its complexities with a joy and wisdom that truly reflects the grand, benevolent design. Conclusion: the horizon of unfolding truth. My friends, we began this journey in the shadows of what we thought we knew, daring to question the very nature of certainty. We've explored the profound wisdom found in embracing unknowing, the quiet power of spiritual stealth, the unerring guidance of our inner oracle, the multidimensional dance of time, and the liberating embrace of cosmic humor. This essay isn't about giving you a new set of answers, it's about giving you a new set of eyes. It's about calibrating your inner compass to navigate a reality far more nuanced, far more mysterious, and infinitely more joyful than you previously imagined. The unseen architect is not a remote deity, but the guiding intelligence woven into every fiber of existence and reflected in the profound, evolving wisdom within you. There is exhilarating awe that comes from continually pulling back the veil, one gentle act of unknowing, one quiet moment of discernment, one heartfelt laugh at the grand cosmic joke at a time. Go forth, be curious, be subtle, be present, be limitless, and always, always remember to laugh. The inner compass, navigating life with breath, senses, and choice. Our journey through life often feels like navigating a vast, unpredictable ocean. We encounter currents of joy, storms of sorrow, and periods of unsettling calm. In such a voyage, where do we find our compass, our anchor? While the world's systems, its institutions, societal constructs, and often flawed frameworks can be fraught with corruption and bias, we possess an internal, unassailable set of tools given to us by the very universe itself: our breath, senses, freedom of thought, and power of choice. Having faith in these inherent systems is not merely a philosophical stance. It is a practical guide for living a life of authenticity and purpose. Unlike the external systems we often find ourselves beholden to, which are designed and maintained by imperfect humans, our internal systems are pristine and fundamental. Our breath, the rhythmic inhale and exhale, is a constant, a reminder of the life force flowing within us. It grounds us in the present moment, a simple yet profound act that connects us to the universal pulse. When the noise of the world becomes deafening, a conscious return to our breath can quiet the cacophony, allowing clarity to emerge. It is the most immediate system for self-regulation, always available, always true. Then there are our senses, the intricate pathways through which we perceive reality. Sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell are not just biological functions. They are our primary data collectors, our direct link to the richness of existence. They allow us to experience beauty, to register danger, to connect with others, and to understand our environment. While external narratives can distort reality, our senses provide raw, unmediated information. Learning to trust our gut feelings, the subtle cues our senses provide, can be a more reliable guide than any external dogma or popular opinion. They are the universe's way of whispering truths directly to our consciousness. Perhaps the most potent of these gifts are our freedom of thought and our power of choice. These are the hallmarks of our autonomy, the engine of our individual journey. In a world that often seeks to dictate beliefs and prescribe behaviors, the ability to think critically, question, analyze, and synthesize information is an act of rebellion and liberation.